So the intent is to simplify array of strings, which can be done using array of char star and also done using char star star, that means a double pointer. So I start with a very simple code. This is not doing much. It is basically asking the user how many strings you want to enter, and it is reading it. So it reads n lines, where lines can have spaces, etc., and it prints that, just that. Till now it is not storing it. So let me demonstrate it, how it runs. So when we run it, it simply says how many strings you want. Let's say 3. The first is Ram Kumar, and let me add some spaces here. The second is space, life is good, more spaces. So notice it reads the entire line, and the new line is explicitly removed by code. Okay, and I write something and it reads. So it reads 3 strings and prints it, that's all. But now we want to store these strings in a array of char star. So what we will do, our first improvement in this SQL will be that we create an array of char star and we store it. So we make that program array of string 2, and now our intent is we make char star and we make array of string. I will call it array of string. Okay, and let's say we want max so many strings. Assume we can have 50 strings, so I can have a max num strings as 50. So that's okay. So let's understand pictorially what are we doing as of now. Let's have the clear picture. So we go to Jamboard and we draw. So right now, yeah, just 1 minute. Yeah. So right now, this array of str, if we think, array of str is simply an array having pointers. Each element of the array is a char star, it's a pointer. And what is the value currently? If I talk of line number 13, and if I ask what is the value of slot 0 pointer, slot 1 pointer, so the answer is garbage, because local arrays are not initialized. So till now it is garbage. Okay, so now I want to store. So so how do I do? So I am reading it into one string array. So basically I'm reading whatever I'm reading from the user, I'm reading into a small array of characters. Okay, that is called str, and this is arr of str. Okay, so I read here. So can I just assign this address here? That would be fatal, because then all of the addresses will point here and we will not have much useful thing. So what we will need to do is we will allocate this memory. We will do a malloc. How much malloc will we do? Will we do malloc of max string length, which is in our case, how much it is? Let's see. It is 256, but that doesn't sound very efficient. If I have entered Ram Kumar, then I should maybe allocate 9-10 characters and it can be saved there, right? So I will like to do short mallocs. If this string if Ram Kumar fits in this memory, I allocate that much only. If the next string, maybe it's a huge line, somebody has written a lot of characters, and then I can allocate string length of that, like that. So my visualization is that I allocate every of these char stars are a dynamically allocated array of character. Okay, because I have to store a string, so I need an array of characters. So every of these char star is a dynamically allocated array of char. And if the user says I want to allocate 5, I want to enter 5 lines, so I will fill only first 5 pointers. Remaining of the pointers I don't care about, they can be garbage, because my dimension of this array is limited by num. I operate only till num. So now let me do that malloc and let me store the stuff. So I have till now only done printf, but now I will do malloc and I will store. So what I will say arr of str, the ith element I want to malloc, right? I want to malloc, and how much space do I want? I want size of char, which is 1 anyway, into strlen of str, because I have read my input in str. So how much characters does it contain? strlen of str, those many characters, plus 1 for the /0. So I need this much of memory, and from a conventions perspective I will typecast it to char star. Every element of the array is a char star, so that's a char star. And then into this memory I do strcpy. I simply say strcpy array of stri and str. So now line number 29 and 30 are basically doing this, that let's say I'm filling this lot, so I do a malloc. I have read in this one singleton kind of array in which I have read, and I copy character by character that content. And this is a smaller array, smaller dynamically allocated array. This is 256, which is a little longer, but when I fill individual elements I take only those many bytes which I require for storing that line. So with this code I should have populated the array quite well. Now maybe I can have a loop, so maybe I can remove this print or comment it, and now I can have a loop to print the array. So I can have a parallel loop, and I can say okay, printing array of strings, and now I can just add a printf. I can say printf. So maybe I can say %d colon %s, so the line number or the index colon the line. So I can do something like this, I comma array of string I. So that would be a nice formatted thing. And after, so I can remove this brace also, don't need. And then I should free it also, because I want Valgrind to be always happy. So I will run the same loop, and this time I will free it. I will say free this thing. Although you may argue that why can't I free here, why do I write two loops? I can free here, but just to keep it clean I'm doing it, right? Deallocate the all memory, and just to keep clean, deallocate. So let's see how it goes. We have a loop to read, we have loop to print, we have loop to deallocate. Let's see how it goes. So array of string 2, so we always use -vol, and we compile. It compiles, and let me run without Valgrind. Let's say 3 strings, a space b, c space d, e space f, and it prints quite well, and things are apparently good. Let's run it under Valgrind. So to recall the last command using Valgrind, and like I can recall, oh, that was something different. So let me abort that. So let me type that command, Valgrind leak check equal to yes, tool equal to memcheck, and /a.out. So how many, it will ask how many strings, maybe 4. Ram Kumar, A B C D E F G. So that's my array, and it's quite a clean thing. 6 allocates, 6 free, no memory error, so that's quite excellent, Now let's go a way further The further is that one may claim that you have this array of pointers and you are wasting this space. You were able to do with 4 pointers. Why you allocated array of 50 pointers? Okay, so that can be the claim of some reviewer. So to satisfy that reviewer, what you can say is, okay, I will minimize that memory also. I will change it. Here is my next version, array of string 3, where what I'm doing is I'm not statically allocating this array, I'm allocating this array dynamically. So if we think simply, this is just for explanation. Let's say you have a int ARR 100 and somebody says you are allocating space of 100 integers, you are not very intelligent. Then you can say, okay, I will say int star ARR and I will do ARR equal to malloc size of int into num. Okay, so that's the exact thing we are doing here. So I will comment this and we will keep it as a reference. Okay, that's the exact thing we are doing here. We are saying I am not keeping a array of max number of strings, I am keeping one pointer to. So I will comment this also as a memory, I will keep it. I'm saying I'm keeping a pointer to char star. Okay, and then after, as soon as I know how many char star I want, I will allocate it like this. So I will even copy paste this line. So I allocate ARR of str as size of 1 char star into num, because I know I need num entries. The user is going to add num lines. And what is from a coding conventions perspective, malloc returned void star and the left hand side is a char star star. So I will typecast. Okay, so now this array of str is a dynamically allocated array. And the good news is that whatever I wrote with the static array, this code will work as is with the dynamically allocated array. Why so? Because we understood some time ago that if we use a array of integers is statically allocated, or we make this ARR a dynamically allocated array, basically pointer to int and array of int are syntactically equivalent. Their size of is different, one can increment, one cannot increment, all that is good, but they are syntactically equivalent, array of int and pointer to int. Similarly, array of char star and pointer to char star are syntactically equivalent. So that's why once you change this dynamically allocated stuff, this code works as is, because syntactically pointer to char star and array of char star is the same. This code works as is. This code works as is. The only one thing I have to do is I have to deallocate that array of pointers also, because now I did basically now I allocated this also dynamically. So this I need to free. The only little thing I have to add. So I will add free ARR of str, and ideally my job is done. Rest of the code doesn't change. Static array was there, I changed it to dynamic allocation, I freed it at the end. All the code in the middle should work as it is. Let's verify that it works and let's compile. So I take the third, compiles cleanly, I run it directly in Valgrind. Let me clean this window and run it directly in Valgrind. And let's say we enter 5 strings. So I say 1, 2, even that is a string, 3, 4. I have added some space, doesn't matter, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is 5 lines, and that's the thing. Even the space in the middle or end is counted, doesn't matter, but it is quite clean. 8 allocs, 8 frees, it is quite clean. So this is how you do array of char star. And when any confusion arises, you simply think in terms of array of integer and pointer to int, and then you can remind yourself that that this whole thing you can copy paste, and instead of int you can apply it to array of x, and pointer to x you can apply, and then you can remind yourself that you can again copy paste, and instead of x you can say char star, and you can say char star instead of x, and you can say char star instead of x again, and you have just achieved the same code. So basically the same principle, pointer to int and array of int, the same principle is applied to pointer to char star, which is double pointer, and array of char star. So it is that simple. So I think that has simplified array of strings, both statically allocated and dynamically allocated.